G'day folks, it's Rob here and welcome to our small little backyard farm. In today's clip, I just want to run through how I'm going to be turning some of this used potting mix into a nice nutritious blend for some gingers I'd like to overwinter down here near the aquaponics. So I'll get the camera set up and I'll bring you down for a bit of a gander. So this here is the potting mix that I'll be feeding up to plant the ginger out in. This stuff here is pretty much all made up of some sweet potato. Also, I think there's an eggplant pouch went in here, and also some strawberries that didn't quite make it through to winter. So they've just been added in here, and I just store it in this large pouch until it's time to use it again. Now, primarily it is potting mix with some compost that I've added in when they've originally gone into the pouches. What I'll be adding to this is some more compost. This is from a cage we've had going for quite some time. The material had broken down and then the compost worms have moved in and made it even finer still. So all I've done with this is I grab my little compost sieve, pop it over the top of a bucket, give it a bit of a shake around, and I've collected all this nice fine grade compost. So some of this will be going into the blend as well. So this potting soil here, it still is fairly friable. You can give it a good squeeze and then it just falls apart nice and loosely. So I'm not going to worry about adding anything else in here. If I was concerned, what I could do is add in some sand. This is of course river sand. I use this one here in my wicking bed, so it's something I always have on hand. At least a little bit I always keep aside. I could add that in there and it would just help to loosen up the blend a little bit more. Another thing you could add in is perlite. I do know some people like to have some perlite and vermiculite around just to loosen up their potting blends. It's something I haven't really used a lot. I bought this to loosen up some soil that went into some wicking beds, but mind you, it was soil, so it does tend to be a little bit heavier. So it is something you could probably consider buying, but yeah, it's not something I'm going to worry about adding into this blend here. One thing I will be popping into each pouch is pretty much just that amount. I'd say that's less than 1/4 cup of a slow release organic chicken based fertilizer, just to help boost up any nutrients that have been taken out by the soil's previous inhabitants. Along with the chicken fertilizer, I'll be putting in around about a tablespoon of this kelp meal, just to add some of the trace elements that may be missing in the blend. So one of the reasons I'm feeding up with extra amendments is basically we have a 12-month growing cycle here. You folks in cooler climates may retire your containers or your pouches for a couple of months during winter. Here we're pretty much all growing full tilt all year long, and I find these amendments just help to add a little bit more nutrients into the soil blend. So this here is the container or root pouch I'll be planting my ginger in to overwinter. It's a 39 litre or 10 gallon root pouch, and into that I will be placing half of my little Cambodian ginger stand here. It was given to us well over 12 months ago now. I think this is its second winter and it definitely needs to be moved into a slightly larger container. This plant here actually actively grew through last winter here. We have very mild winters. I think if I give it a little bit more room to move in these larger pouches and feed up the soil, as soon as spring hits, this thing's just going to bolt out of the gate. To make up the different proportions of the blend, I'm just using my 10 litre bucket here. So I'm pretty much all just going to start off with a bucket full of the potting soil, pop that straight into the pouch here. Try not to tip it everywhere. And then I'm going to add in about 5 litres of this compost. So to measure that out, I'm just going to use a little ice cream container. That's 2 litres. There's another bit again, and probably half of that. And then on top of that, another bucket full of potting mix. There we go. And at this point too, I'll just make a bit of a well in the centre. Pop in about a tablespoon or so of the kelp meal, small palmful of the pellets, and I'm just going to mix this all around in the bag itself. Normally you'd mix something like this in a large tub or a wheelbarrow, but you know, I'm fine with getting the hands dirty and doing it in the containers. Now, oh, there's a little compost worm. So they are in there, probably feeling a little bit cold today. Next for the ginger. So what I'm pretty much all doing is just pulling out a little clump like this that has a couple of little active growth nodes. I'm just going to pop him smack bang in the middle, I think. Might just build up a little bit of a mound on the centre for him to sit on. And just backfill around him with the potting mix. Now this soil going in hasn't got any of the extra compost or any of the extra chicken pellets or kelp meal in it. But as its roots will grow down, it will find the nice, nutritious, rich stuff. Let's firm him down a little bit. Just top off around the sides. And there we go. There's one potted up little ginger plant. So all that's left to do now is pop these guys out in position, but I'll wait until tomorrow to do that, just so you can see where they're being positioned to make the most of the winter sun. So before I move these pouches into position, I did add on a little bit of lucerne or alfalfa hay as a mulch, and what that will do is help keep the surface of the soil moist and also give the compost worms in there something to feed on as it breaks down. In another pouch, I planted out a little native ginger that Kira got me, thank you Koo. It was given to her at a school camp. They worked in a nursery on a prac day and they were given a seedling each, and she picked a little native ginger for me. So this one has edible blueberries apparently, so something we'll be reading up on and will feature in later clips once it grows a little bit bigger next season. So the reason I held off finishing the clip yesterday was I wanted to show you where I'm positioning them. Just excuse the fish feeding next to me. I've popped them in a position that gets a fair amount of afternoon light. We're just coming on to 3 p.m. here, so this is getting probably the last hour and a half worth of sunlight. It's the 6th of June and we've got a couple more weeks till the winter solstice. Just to show you, the sun here rises over there in the east during winter, comes across the sky in this sort of arc, and then sets down at the moment behind our house. Around solstice it'll be about there. So being in this position here, they pretty much will get the morning sun from round about, I'd say 7 o'clock-ish onwards. So they do get a reasonable amount of daylight every day here. And hopefully with the solstice coming in a week or two's time, these guys will start to enjoy the longer daylight hours. Even our normal ginger that normally dies back by the middle of June is still growing, so I think maybe a bit of a mild winter maybe in store. And never know, we might be able to overwinter that as well. So as in most little jobs around the garden, there's more than one way to do it. This is just how I like to revitalise the container soil that we grow in here. If you want to check out another way to do it, pop over to Patrick at 1 Yard Revolutions channel. He's just recently posted another clip on how he likes to revitalise the soil for his growing methods. While you're there, spend some time in Patrick's garden, going through his clips. He's got an absolutely awesome channel. Just quickly, for you folks who grow in root pouches, these guys here are totally machine washable. So this is the one from the ginger yesterday. I've had it sitting in the sun and it's dried out a little bit. What I like to do is just rough it up a little and get all the algae and dust and whatnot out of the inside of it, and then toss it in the washing machine. Throw a little bit of vinegar in there on a fairly short cycle, just cleans them up nicely, and then you can hang them on the line and dry them out. Then all you need to do is just fold them up, put them away, and you can drag them out next season. Great handy little way to grow, plus you've got the air pruning effect as well, which doesn't hurt either. So if anyone, by the way, is interested in buying some of these, if you're in the States, I've got an Amazon A store or an affiliate store. There's a link below in the description where I've listed out many of the sizes that I use here. And for you Aussies, I do have another shipment coming. It's in the middle of the Pacific at the moment on a ship. So when that arrives, I'll be sending out emails and letting folks know on social media. So there you go. So I do hope that this clip has given you a few ideas on how you can revitalise your potting soil so you get to recycle it and use it again. I suppose I should collect all these pouches, dust them off and pop them in the washing machine. I do hope you're all well and happy and that all your gardens are booming, and I'll catch you next clip. Cheers folks, have a top one. So to begin with, I'm just going to pop in nothing because it all went over the side. First I don't turn the camera on, and then I put soil everywhere.